I have two questions for you. First, do you doubt the historical accuracy of the Bible?
Yes, I do. I mean, not in its totality. I mean, certainly I think that there are, there's some historically accurate things there. It names specific people and places and that kind of thing. But do I think it's the inerrant Word of God? No, of course not.
I mean, I'm sure you, as a professor, you've read ancient books, the Odyssey by Homer, different stuff in the Greek time, and anything that you attest to being truth, as far as those books and almost every ancient work, the Bible meets is way more historically accurate than those other. There's more versions of it in less time, especially in the New Testament. Jesus appeared to over 500 people after he died, and those people gave, testimony to the other people, eyewitness accounts, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so if you believe that the other ancient texts and other stuff is true, then how can you not believe that the Bible is true?
Yeah, well, like I said, I don't throw the Bible entirely out. I mean, I think there is some truth to the Bible. But even if you can show me that there's some verification of, let's take the town of Bethlehem. Let's say that, okay, that's a real historical place, the Bible mentions it, Jerusalem and kind of the surrounding geography. Look, if I grant you that, well, what follows from that? Just because you can show me that there's some historical reliability there, what does that prove? Well, it just proves it gives us some historical reliability, but it doesn't prove that this book is from God then.
Well, I think the main point of Christianity is the resurrection of Christ. That's the main issue. I think you could, and that, I mean, he did after he was declared dead, and now people can say he wasn't dead or something happened. But after that, he did appear to over 500 people, his disciples, plenty of eyewitnesses.
Now, where does it say that we have 500 eyewitnesses
in the Bible?
It says it in the Bible.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's going to be a problem for me because you have who wrote that?
The Christian.
Right, and specifically Paul, and you've got Christians, people who are very invested in this, right? The Gospels are written by,
But at the time they weren't Christian. I mean, many of them are Paul.
Well, Matthew certainly was a follower of Jesus, right?
Yes, but as far as you're saying, Paul and stuff like that, he killed Christians for fun, basically, before that. I mean, not all of this was, we were super invested in this guy, and let's make sure, let's create this big complex lie to prove that it's an act, or even though he didn't meet the standards.
Yeah, well, it seems like, there's a number of explanations for these kinds of things. First of all, it's going to cast suspicion on it, just that it's written by people who were pretty invested in this. It seems like, if you're Matthew, and you follow this guy for 3 years, and then all of a sudden, boom, he's killed, and you're like, what the heck did I just do with 3 years of my life? You're pretty distraught, right? You're going to be pretty upset about that. You don't want to say that you've wasted 3 years of your life.
Would you waste the rest of your life, though? I mean, if I wasted 3 years of my life and something wasn't true, whether it be, especially a relationship with someone I'm sure you would consider a close friend, and I wouldn't, if it wasn't true, though, I wouldn't want to keep living that lie for the rest of my life. In fact, die for it.
Sure, but people do that all the time, right? I mean, I would guess that you don't think that all the other religions are true. That's right. Mormonism and Islam and Hinduism. I would guess that you don't think those are true. But those people, they're going to give their entire life for that. They're going to live their whole entire life, for that. I actually recently talked to a Mormon who said he actually thinks that Mormonism is completely false. And he thinks Joseph Smith is just full of crap, okay? And, but his wife is a Mormon. Her family are Mormons. His family are Mormons. Their children are Mormons. Their friends are Mormons. You know what he said? He said, I know it's false, but I just can't give all this up.
Well, that brings me to a second question. Where is your truth, then? If there's no God, I think that almost eliminates absolute truth and brings everything into a relative perspective.
Why? So you have to believe in God to believe in truth?
Well, where does your absolute truth come from? Is everyone just kind of right in their own ways? Or
Well, right. It seems like there are just these, kind of basic realities like mathematics. I mean, I have to believe in God to think that 2 + 2 = 4 is an absolute truth.
Are you talking about moral?
Yeah, moral truth. Like, why? Let's stop.
Okay, so not just any
Why
truth.
is killing someone wrong? Why? I'm sure you view that as wrong. You say don't fight or kill babies
Yeah, well, I mean, there's two ways you can go on this. You know, there are some who would say, well, look, each culture determines their own morality. So in our culture, I'm speaking to you, we live in this culture, we have a shared set of values that we've come to realize these things help us cooperate and live together. So maybe it's societies that determine it. Or maybe it's something just about human beings. Maybe it's part of our human nature to know these things. Maybe this is maybe it's evolution. Maybe evolution has given us this kind of moral feature that helps us to adapt and survive. When we cooperate versus kill each other, a lot more of us survive. You know, and so there's survival values certainly in morality. So I think there's a number of explanations for morality. Yeah, but these are good challenges. Yeah, go for it.
So I'm just trying to understand a little bit like how you view the world. I'm pretty sure I understand if you're going with like scientific, like procedure, I guess you call it.
Yeah.
Observation, analysis, explanation.
Sure, and I would say science and rationality together.
Yeah, so like you're approaching the world like with doubt, and then you just base it on what you as a human being understand, and like use your logic is how you decide what's right and what's wrong.
Well, yeah, I mean, it kind of seems like that's kind of what the position we're all left in. We have certain senses, right? We've got 5 senses that come into the world, okay? But we also seem to have a rational mind. This seems to set us apart from, you know, animals, where we can reason things out, and so we draw inferences, we reason things out, and so our senses combined with our rationality seem to give us a pretty good sense of what's out there and how to maneuver in the world.
Yeah, and then, well, then that ties into like my argument. Be like, so like the complexity of like our rationality of the universe, of like just how things are. So that's, I mean, it's a very silly argument that Christians like, but it's still a valid argument.
Wait, well, why is it silly if it's valid?
Well, it's because it can be disproved by the fact that you just deny that everything can happen, like, or that God created it, and you can just say that it can happen because science can prove it. But
okay.
I don't think science can prove it. We haven't proved that things can be created, like complex things. Like, yeah, we can create like small things, like not from nothing, but like then how did the universe come to be? Like, I don't know. It's just.
Yeah, well, don't you think it might be better, rather than kind of fall back on kind of a religious explanation for scientific things, might it be better just to kind of suspend judgment for a little bit? Even, let's just say you aren't convinced by certain scientific evidence, but we kind of know in the history of science, the science just continues to give us more and more knowledge and facts, you know, cold hard facts about the universe, such that you and I benefit from these things every day. You have a headache, well, what do? You take Advil or ibuprofen or Tylenol or whatever, and you don't question that. And I don't know, maybe you pray that your headache goes away or something. I guess you could do that, but I think probably most of us are going to depend upon science. And so it seems like, given the track record of science, maybe we ought to just, rather than say, well, God did it, because I can't explain it scientifically, just let's hold out for a little bit and realize that, gosh, we're discovering new things all the time. We're learning more, and science is giving us a better picture of the universe.
So it's just a fully scientific view and everything, like just suspended.
Well, I would say a rational and scientific view. I think you've got to have reason and rationality there as well. But yeah, I mean, what else do you want someone to? Well, I guess maybe you say, well, then if you don't want to be reasonable, totally reasonable and rational and logical and scientific, then you have faith. Is that what? Okay.
It's just. It's more thoughts in my head that I'm trying to like figure out. Like I can't like express it the way I want to.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough.
Just trying to understand like how you think and how like you view the world and like where you get where you are.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I certainly understand. I mean, that's great. I'm glad you're kind of working these things out. I guess what I just want to propose is maybe you shouldn't punt to faith so quickly. Maybe you want to kind of stay in rationality and reason and logic a little longer and see where that'll take you.